Okay, take two.
You? Question mark? We're good. Nice. All right. We did intros already, but we're doing it again. Welcome everyone to another round of the Rando tourney. I'm Bad Magic on cons, joined here by Homothety.
Hello.
We should have an exciting race out for us today.
Yeah,
Uh,
you can see through the pause screen we're looking at West Crossroads and West Blue Lake start. Uh, yeah, round two of winners, I believe.
that sounds right. I have not been following the bracket nearly closely enough.
Right, or I guess I should say the second full round, since we had a mini round.
Yeah, like a
due to
weird staggered bracket.
yeah, due to the imbalanced number of teams.
All right. Let's get the runners counted down.
Yeah,
All right. They are counted down and should get going in a minute.
and so one of the things we were talking about with all the racers in the chat is the options you have with this West Crossroads Malik start. Who is brave enough to fight Malik immediately? Looks like no one tonight, but maybe we'll get someone to do it after the totems.
Interesting.
Instant
Uh,
Mantis Claw.
nice claw, good baby seed. Uh, okay, so we have Calypso going for itemless Moloch after getting one totem. It looks like Jamie is doing that as well. Um, Gotta love it. A good itemless Moloch.
Yeah, it's always fun to see this at the start. Definitely one of the harder early bosses you can see, but
And speaking of early bosses, it looks like the other players are finishing up their Grossmothers.
yes, not such a hard boss. Just 18 hits, and they get a Balder Killer as a reward, so opening up Green Path, very sort of tempting option for the runner on the left side to get them some early divergence and not have two people doing crossroads at the same time.
Yes, that is a very appealing option, I think.
Yeah, though I guess we
Uh,
already had Cliff's access through Dirtmouth thanks to the Claw, so they didn't
yeah,
have to kill the Balder anyways, and probably Vanilla Green Path entry is not the most appealing path.
mhm, yeah. Also, with Moloch done, we now have Dream Shield, another Baldur killer.
Some people might say that. We could see the Balder Shield Dream Shield go. I
And
think a lot of people would be very excited by that.
yeah, I know we've got at least one Dream Shield Baldur enjoyer in the chat. Uh, True, Kama is making a good call out. Blossom did just check Dirt Mode stag. Incredibly cringe, I have to say.
I
Uh,
do think that checking Dirtmouth Stag does tend to be a good strategy for actually getting all of the items in the seat, though.
yes, that is true. That is an in joke. Connor and Blossom always say that that check is cringe.
That is also one of the check switches most commonly forgotten, just because it's in an unusual spot you don't tend to pass through very often. Just very forgettable. Similar to some of the journal entries and uh, other checks which people tend to forget for whatever reason. Okay,
So
but you're seeing some King's Pass and False Knight as our early options.
Yeah, so like, as you predicted, we kind of see Calypso heading towards Cliffs, with Blossom finishing out the rest of Crossroads. It looks like Jamie and May are opting to split Crossroads at the moment, though maybe Jamie is considering heading to Green Path now.
Yeah, I think that those strategies are understandable, but if you do end up splitting Crossroads, you are very much hoping to get some kind of fungal access or something like that. That way that you have something to do afterwards. Or another potential option, which would be really interesting, I think, would be to see like one person go to Cliffs and then the other person do vanilla Green Path entry into lower Green Path. And
Yeah.
yeah, that could be efficient too, just
All right.
because crossing Green Path is quite slow.
Yeah. So we've seen a Grubfather check. It looks like there's a dash at 17 and not much else.
So we won't be seeing that for quite a while. Ooh, wow.
You're
Wings?
underestimating Blossom if you think it'll take quite a while to get 17 grubs.
But in
No.
any case, we see Wings, we see Shopkeeper's Key, we see Queen Station Stag. Wow, what an explosive minute of this rando. So that's going to open up quite a bit. Make all of those routing options we were just talking about kind of obsolete, since Queen Station Stag puts you right there. And of course, with Wings, you can do all sorts of checks left, right, and center.
Yeah. Okay. And it looks like May and Jamie are now making their way towards those checks as well, albeit a little behind.
Yeah, so this really is good for them because, in particular, getting that Wings is essential. And Queen Station Stack as well from Cyclone Slash is going to be very useful for routing this. Wings or no wings.
Yeah, I think the the Wings Queen Station combo is a pretty good pairing.
Yeah, being able to do the Willow and either go up into lower Green Path or go into fungal wastes.
Yeah, and I do think like either going into fungal or splitting Green Path are both appealing options.
Yeah, if you both split Green Path, then your next divergence can be one person does fungal, one person does deep nest, or something like that. So it's not like you're putting yourself in a bad spot in the future.
Yeah, I think if I were running the seed, that's probably the split I would prefer, just because like fungal.
Ooh.
Well, I guess with Mantis Village and Wings Claw, fungal actually has things.
So that QG stag is nice. That's actually going to give them a goal on the board immediately. And queue up the Marmu goal later on. Just very nice in general.
QG stag is definitely the premium QG access.
Yeah, so I missed where the swim was.
The swim was in a shop in Dirtmouth.
That does tend to make sense, given that they got that shopkeeper's key. They have all sorts of good stuff in shops. Oh, swim is Alda, so maybe not shopkeeper's key. But so we actually see resting grounds as a result, rather than any of those left side areas we were talking about. Everyone loves going to resting grounds when you get the chance. Just a very nice area to have bench access to.
Yeah, it's really important to be a rushing shops.
Yes. Plus, we have buyout the Seer on this board, so sooner you visit resting grounds, the sooner you know how much essence there is. Like you said, rushing shops is quite valuable, and with randomized dream bosses, they already have some essence acquired and some essence they know about in shops that they could use to get anything valuable here.
The VS Dream Nail is quite
Yeah.
nice.
Absolutely. Always happy to get that first spell.
And meanwhile, Maya has found the wings in a mound.
Mm-hmm. Okay, where does May go?
Not in a stag, apparently.
Yeah, for a second it seemed like we were about to get, maybe that Queen Station or QG check. Check would have been it would have been interesting, but nope. Decides to follow Blossom into RG.
Okay. So one thing of note on this board actually is we have the Talk to Cloth goal. The early claw is going to make that significantly less pleasant.
But it's still the guaranteed cloth location. It's right next to Base and Palor, which you were probably going to check unless the seed is very generous.
Yeah. I think Basin Palor is somewhat out of the way.
It is. And the seed, this board doesn't have any basin goals, if I'm not mistaken. So it's not something that you're really routed towards. But it's not awful.
Yeah. I suppose there's also the option to talk to Cloth and Deepness. I don't know what the trigger for that is, but that's a thing that's possible sometimes.
I believe that the trigger is don't go to Base and Pillar, but I could be mistaken on that.
Okay. Oh yeah, Jamie's stream a little bit frozen at the moment.
And we do see one of the potential downsides of that rushing RG play is you could always end up finding the RG stag in a very early and easy location. Won't give anyone an advantage this time around, but maybe they'll be regretting that long swim across Blue Lake.
Yeah.
Could still end up being worth if they find elevator pass or something to where they need the lower RG access. Oh, we also have Crystal Heart on all of the screens.
Yeah, I believe that was at Zier.
Looks like Green Path on Blossom's recent items. I completely missed it, so.
Yeah, it does seem to be Green Path, you're right.
And you are right that Blossom is very, very dedicated towards getting Grubs, going straight into Crystal Peak, and I actually really like this as well. Knowing that there is that dash at Grubs, going to the area which has arguably the best grub density.
Yeah.
Is very good for getting that dash as soon as possible, which really does help speed up the bingo clearing considerably.
Yeah, especially in high-level races, they can often be determined by who gets their dash first.
Yeah, definitely not so critical now that we have Crystal Heart, so that's a significant improvement over just walking, but nevertheless, dash is irreplaceable.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely the blue team is prioritizing grubs, it seems like.
Yeah.
Oh, and it seems like there's another one in a CG.
Yep.
Well, I'm sure they will still get more. But like the shader cloak is still quite nice, but
Yeah. So
obviously
yeah,
the dash is the primary objective.
yeah, much less pressure to rescue all those grubs now. Sort of nice for true ending, yeah, to have Shade Cloak there, but it's not required for anything on the board. So
Yeah, there are definitely like a few awkward shader cloak locked checks. Oh, so it's
certainly true. And we have some random motains too, like Monomon, 2 Soul Warriors, Distant Village Stag. A lot of seed clearing gonna be necessary before we can possibly write off stuff. We do see May also following through with the Crystal Peak play, which is going to be really good for keeping the two teams at par with each other. I'm sure that she's very happy to have gotten that Mothling Cloak there, knowing that blue team already has it.
mm-hmm. Yeah, certainly. Although okay, they marked it. I was like,
Yeah.
although they haven't marked the goal, so maybe they don't know that blue team.
They marked it a little late.
Yeah.
But no, they did remember. Very, very interesting early Umu or early archives. I wonder if they're just going to get the bench and leave. Seems like it.
Yeah,
Not the best loadout.
I think taking the bench if you're going through this way is usually a sound play.
Also, we didn't mention it, but yeah, that dive in Fog Canyon could be something which eludes the purple team for a long time.
Yeah, that is potentially true. Going to East Fog Canyon, uh, especially this early in the seed, even if you like have all the stuff for it, is pretty rare.
It is. It's quite uncommon, though we've seen a few races in this tournament already where there was something critical in East Fog Canyon. Actually, the last race I commentated, although in that one, no one checked East Fog Canyon, and so we never saw it.
Someone in chat is pointing out that there was a Grim Child at Stone Sank Mask.
That is interesting.
That's a good payoff for going out of logic as well, potentially. Although I don't think we've seen any fragiles yet.
But nevertheless, NKG is on the board. That is gonna be required, and
that is true.
Who knows how much of a priority Stone Sanctuary is in terms of the revisit for blue team. I mean, surely they'll do it eventually, but you have so many choices at this stage.
Yeah, I think it's also very easy to like just not go there until you have to fight no eyes because you don't have other good tracks.
So that's a really good point too. That if you check Stone Sanctuary early in this, these flags, you sort of isolate that boss essence check. And so there is a incentive to really put that off until you have Lantern. Okay, Soul. Yeah, on all 4 screens.
It's quite interesting to see how similarly these routes have developed for like as many choices as became available early. Like
I
we
was
see kind of
just
like the diagonal split from the folks who started on the at the Moloch Star are ending up in Funkel. The folks who ended up or started on the other side went to Peaks and got Dash.
I think that's really interesting. And yeah, there really are a lot of options. Of course, there's Deep Nest, they have the QG Stag, which I don't believe we've even seen that, those checks from either side. I may be wrong.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's ridden the Stag yet.
Oh yeah, no, they'd have to mark they'd have to mark the Visit QG goal. So I think that is especially interesting to me.
I don't know if riding the Stag makes the text pop up. Usually we rule that goal as the text has to show.
It doesn't, but if you go to the room to the right, which you would do to check the rancid egg and the totem and everything, then that would
Yeah.
actually pop the text. So
Yeah, you could certainly just like go check the Stag and not get the text. Like I don't know why you would, but that's an option.
right, I mean QG Stag was not especially well hidden. I can't imagine you're realistically hoping to conceal something so early.
Mm-hmm. It looks like we've got a compass from the purple team. GG to them.
Oh, is
And
this
we've got
it?
the first dreamer.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was about to say Jamie giving QG, but I see Calypso is already there. Once again, it's like they're on the same wavelength. Yes, first streamer from Lurian. Not really unlocking anything for us, thanks to this pretty decent vertical movement to do anything we want in Crossroads. It's like,
Ooh, checking the totem here is a little interesting.
forgetting no dive maybe, since dive would have made this significantly more appealing play. And speaking of fragile charms, there's their first.
And of course, Blossom is still saving the grub.
Yeah, definitely worth making the progress you can toward Shade Cloak. No guarantee that you'll find it anywhere else.
So as we might expect, swim at Flower Quest. Good thing we found the
Amazing.
other one.
Yep. Oh well.
Yeah,
Okay. Hidden Station.
yeah. So as one might expect, given that the teams have kind of been following the same route, they have all the same goals. Purple has not red lore tablets, maybe not reading enjoyers. And that was a clean love key skip from Calypso.
We saw both teams do the love key skip actually. I think May is one who is well known in particular for labbing it out, but didn't get the chance to do it this seed.
Basin Fountain has fragile
Zero,
strength. Wow.
not fragile strength. Did May check the totem?
I don't know if she did. I think she may have.
Okay, yeah, I wasn't sure because I wasn't looking from the start. Okay, we're getting our basin and deep nest, so
Yeah. How is tea progression so far? I believe both teams have Lurian and a King still.
Voidheart now.
Voidheart now, yes. Short Sea.
So our dreamer is Lurian, still holding out for that Monomon.
I don't think I think cloth was skipped.
That's still good.
Well, fortunately, from Basin Toll, it's not a horrible track back.
Right, and it's also possible that the Deep Nest player is not the Basin player on both sides, so they can still hope to get the alternate cloth spawn, which is pretty convenient if you're doing failed tramway anyways. Now, whether you want to do failed tramway, I guess, can be its own question.
Yeah, certainly.
Cloth may be easier in Deep Nest, but she isn't very difficult in Base and Pillar, especially if you have VS and Shaman like they do. I think it would just be like 1 or 2 casts, plus a little bit of waiting.
Interesting. So there's King's Brand and Deep Nest, it seems. Oh, interesting. So the purple team does not have Isma as the blue team does. I completely missed where that was.
Right? Yeah, and of course purple also doesn't have dive. Purple also hasn't marked check Isma. May please. There's her rates at Sharp Shadow. Do we need to remind May?
Possibly. There we go.
Okay. Yep. Always gonna have runners forget stuff. Just even reading the card is quite difficult with all of the information packed into it.
There was some discussion about how bad the tournament would be if people got DQ'd for accidentally goal hiding. Like, we would not make it one round, I think.
Definitely very difficult. But luckily, when we have, 2 teammates thinking about it, 2 commentators thinking about it, and sometimes even the restreamer has to step in when the commentators fail in their duties. With that many people, usually it gets caught.
Okay, so both of the members of the purple team have now ignored a claw.
You hate to see it. They'll remember someday.
Yeah, they'll remember someday.
Calypso just went right by Cloth, but
there we go.
Out. And maybe this will also remind Jamie once this presumably gets marked. I think that's just restream. Sorry. Yeah, it's already marked. No, there is a considerable restream delay. we've been experimenting with different stuff to try to not have the bingo board spoiling the race. But of course, if you try to err too much in the other direction, it means that the race will be a good bit ahead of the bingo board. That's just the better situation to be in.
Right. So May is doing City Vessel Fragment, presumably for a Soul Totem, because that's how it always is.
I wonder, can you check the totem with Dash Slash?
You might be able to.
I had something really fun in my tournament race last week where fungal core was the totem. I was really happy to get to slash it through the floor. Deep nest master, I mean. Yeah, all sorts of locations where being able to preview totems could be quite useful if you're alert to it.
So up until now, teams have still been extremely synced. We're finally starting to see some divergence. Blossom heading to Watcher's Spire, May heading into Abyss.
With that Shade Cloak, Abyss becomes much more tempting. Yep, I think they'll be able to do everything. I don't remember if Purple Team has Wraiths yet, but I assume they do. If they don't, it's a Sharp Shadow, so sooner or later they'll get it, but you'd like to do everything in one track.
Yeah.
Shade Soul?
So Blossom is now going to Sanctum. That is quite a good play. And Purple still doesn't have Dive yet, right?
I think that is correct, yeah.
Interesting.
I do have... Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I think Sanctum is an extremely good play. I think it often gets delayed for longer than it should.
EV Stag, that's going to be required, so very good to see that. We also get a Dream now. I think our first.
It does seem that way.
First on both sides, yeah. I was gonna say, yeah, I like Sanctum, like you said. I also like, for the team with Dive, to go ahead and go into Edge. You know you're gonna have to walk all the way up to Coliseum sooner or later. So, I feel like now would be a good time to do that and get the checks along the way.
Yeah, certainly.
But Mantis Lords is a goal too. Understandable why they would prioritize that. Did they preview Voidheart?
Good question. And I don't know what was there. If she did preview it, I didn't see it. Hopefully it's something good.
It looked to me like she dream nailed it from out of preview range. Paler. Okay, well, that's understandable.
That's certainly not nothing. Especially if you're comfortable with your birthplace climb.
Yeah. Not a long thing, and of course, another thing May is well known for is being a Abyss climb lover, so... so definitely one who should be comfortable with it.
Okay, Blossom is making a very large llama sail and presumably going to Nailsmith.
I think that Blossom's play of going into city and taking care of all this stuff, like you said, going ahead and getting that Sanctum bench are all very practical stuff for making progress on this board. I think May's play is a really good sort of counter meta play where like Abyss really isn't helping you with anything on the board, but it's checks which the other team might not do. And actually, we already saw with the DV stack that it's going to be required, so it has already paid out, even if the rest is garbage.
Yes. Yes. Ah, so there's a dream gate at Nailsmith.
Dash
And
slash.
a dash slash as well.
I've been consistent that I think that the evaluation of Sanctum bench is radically different in formats with and without bench work. So I feel like it is not unusual to say that Sanctum bench is quite good with bench work, especially given that we have to do the Shade Soul Warrior, so we have to go back there someday.
Mm-hmm. And we are getting one Soul Warrior down.
Does Jamie not have Shaman equipped? That did not look like a Shaman shaped soul.
Did not. Did they have Shaman?
I believe that both teams found a do not Shaman very early. It would be really sad to have forgotten to equip it. But oh yeah, 2 Soul Warriors and 2 Dream Bosses are on the board. I was thinking that. But nope, there's both goals, so we're gonna see quite a few dream fights today.
Yeah. Interestingly, I don't think that the blue team has a Dream Nail yet. Still. They do. They're fighting Marmu.
Yeah, they got it from the Mantis Lord's Life Blood Cocoon.
Ah, okay.
Oh, we did see Jamie kill the Alubo with Shade Soul.
Okay.
Yeah, they're sort of counter meta play. Maybe, I don't know. I think people can disagree about it, but Watcher Knights is not really not something you always see this early.
I'm told that Watcher Knights is always the correct play, though. So
I am
surely
fond
work out.
I am fond of the early Watcher Knights, to be quite honest. I did it early recently as well. Not in my tournament race, but at another race. I think it's understandable too. Purple team still really wants to find that dive, right? They don't want to do Sanctum, where you might have to double dip without dives, which is understandable.
Yeah, I think like Watcher's Fire, as soon as you have like actual good gear, is actually quite dense because you do like what is really a relatively easy fight with any gear at all, and then you just get 3 checks right away.
Very curious to see picking up the Vessel Fragment, but
Alright, Jamie is headed towards Breda. So the age-old question, will we see Gamer drop? And it looks like the answer is yes.
And we're gonna see some edge too, finally.
I have to say, I'm liking the blue team's routing choices a bit more. Uh,
Yeah,
like getting to Edge, getting to Sanctum are both quite good.
yeah, I agree. I definitely think that purple team may also have sort of the mentality that blue team is somewhat favorited in this matchup, so they need to do things and make unusual choices in order to get an edge here. I don't know. Maybe that's not what they're thinking, but
Yeah. I suppose it could also just be the case that since they still haven't found their dive yet, they're kind of turned off from going those places.
yeah, definitely Edge and Sanctum, both a bit less attractive without dive.
Yeah.
Though you can do all of Upper Edge without being very much limited by it.
Yeah, I think it's also like they currently have no reason to suspect that blue has a dive. Uh, so they might be a little bit blindsided when 420 Rock gets marked.
That's a good point, and yeah, it's definitely fair to say that we have a surprising degree of board parity this far in. The two goals that are different are both fairly easy goals, even though Jamie chose to do it the unusual way by killing the QG Aluba. So neither team is really which would make the other team nervous. At the same time, that can also sort of be scary in its own way, not knowing what the other team has been doing or what they found.
Yeah, I completely forget where the dive was. I'm a little surprised that Purple doesn't have it, given how similar the team's routes have been.
I believe, yeah, that dive was the Fog Canyon. That was.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, so that's going to be really difficult for Purple to check.
yeah,
They really need to get lucky.
yeah. They almost certainly won't be able to read that goal or read that where the dive was based off the goal.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, definitely this far in, it could pretty much be anywhere. And certainly, Fog Canyon sort of at the back of your mind in this setting. Fragile Greed. So that is our last Fragile Charm, I believe. Not on the board, but gives us some Divine checks if we ever go back to Derma. On Purple side.
Yeah, on Purple side, I think Blue is missing a couple Fragiles as well as Troop in town.
I know that Purple found Lantern. I wasn't watching to see if it was found on Blue's side. So definitely Purple should be hoping that Blue doesn't find Lantern for as long as possible so that they can capitalize on that Grimchild advantage.
Chat says Lantern was at Zoe Idol, and they both got it at the same time, which is
that makes sense.
Sensible, yeah.
Yeah, so in that case, it's really a matter of when does Blue team make that Stone Sanctuary revisit. Tram Pass at the 420 Rock.
And we should see that goal marked shortly, which, like, actually, while it looks very innocent, not really.
Yeah, and just for reference, yep, there it goes up, and it was marked on time, just restream delay.
So May is now doing waterways. This is also a bit interesting without dive, but I suppose that purple has kind of run out of sane things to do without dive, to be quite honest.
Yeah, I think that probably is the case. Personally, in this sort of situation, I'm fond of doing the diveless sanctum and stuff like that. Maybe forgetting swim for a moment on May's side, but I know that a lot of people really don't like the thought of having to backtrack sanctum if it's empty, you know. So definitely a difficult situation to be in. I'm seeing Shio. Oh no, lore tablets. Maybe lore tablets and Shio.
So there was a Hera found in Edge by a Blossom. A Bishri Hollow too. There's been discussions about why Strogo is fine in Rando because you'll usually get Claw before you get Winged Shriek, and that is certainly the case in this scene.
So if the tournament is anything to go off of, you'll usually get Claw before you leave Crossroads.
Yes, it certainly seems that way.
It looks like Waterways isn't really paying out too much so far. A bit unfortunate for them. Well, getting some Pale Lurker. Seeing the benefit of that Shaman Shade Soul. Making quick work of that fight. Just an idol.
That's not where that idol's supposed to be.
Oh, then is this going to be an Abyss check? No.
Perhaps just grabbing the bench for coming from hidden is a bit annoying.
That is true.
But no, we're actually going into Basin proper, it seems.
Yep. I don't recall where King's Brand was, whether it was in Basin
or... I don't remember exactly where it was, but both teams have it.
Okay, well, both teams have it then. Yeah, interesting. Did Jamie remember to mark Guilty Soul Warriors? The answer seems to be
no. Soul Warriors is Soul Warriors, not Dream Warriors.
Oh. Never mind. Don't mind me. So, yeah, I got confused.
But yeah, the Awoken Dream Nail at Gorb is interesting. With the movement they have, they could actually start on Palace right now if they felt so inclined.
Yeah. But even with all of their gambits so far, I don't know if we'll see White Palace. It would be really cool though.
Yeah, it would be very cool to see a dive progression in Palace or something.
Yeah. And it really is just a dive for purple team, Monomon for both teams, Elegant Key that we're looking for, right?
Elegant Key would do it. A simple key into Godhome would do it.
Oh yeah, I forgot that.
Call 03 would do it, but usually that's not the option people choose.
No, and definitely there are so many simple keys at this point that Godhome is no problem at all. So, of course, the Elegant Key route is a little faster, but
it needs Elegant Key.
It does need Elegant Key. Monomon, however, isn't big on them.
Mm-hmm. So Blossom's headed towards Glowing Loom. They have done Soul Master or Soul Tyrant. So it's quite possible they're looking at doing Failed Champ as well while they're here.
Right. Defeat 2 dream bosses is not a check goal, so it does have to be done by the same player. Is that right?
Yes, that is correct. Although Calypso did just do Lost Kin, so it's not clear what their dream boss intent might be. I think Blossom doing Failed Champ is probably the most likely.
And really, Failed Champ isn't too bad with this equipment. But of course, you also have NKG, right? So you don't have to. Either player, whichever one that gets NKG now, will be able to mark that goal.
Yeah, that's true.
But on the other end, if you're killing 2 packets, are you really going to abandon Failed Champ?
Yeah.
Especially when you don't know where Monomon or DV stack are yet.
Maggots are dead and starting a Failed Champ now.
Meanwhile, Hornet too.
So something I didn't pay attention to was how much essence is needed for Seer.
I miss that as well.
Because like that's the only thing that really stands out to me is like blue team needs Grimchild. We know where it is. It might be a slog for them to get. Purple team needs Dive. We know where it is. It might be a slog for them to get.
I think both teams have quite a bit of essence, though, so I would be surprised if that were on track to be any sort of concern.
Yeah.
So I really do think it's going to come down to Monomon and then those two checks.
The child was at Don't Think Mastercard, yeah.
And dive at Fog Canyon Charm Notch. Of course, I think that you would typically rather be the team without dive because there are 3 copies of dive, there's a bunch of locations, at least one of them can't be, so you have a better chance of finding it than the one and only Grimchild, but we've seen 2 dive lock dives, meaning that they would be forced to find that one in Fog Canyon. It's possible.
I think that is generally true. The
Markov fight.
May is trying to make us sweat a little. So Blossom has picked up DV Stag and a third but incorrect Dreamer.
So yeah, that's going to remove that one bit of knowledge advantage Purple had. Oh, Jamie finding out that she wasn't the one who killed False Knight.
Well, fortunately, it's quite easy to bully False Knight with Void Spells.
Yeah. Yep, so where is your prediction? Where does your gut think Monomon is?
I don't know. There's still so much unchecked space. Honestly, at this point, it kind of has to be somewhere kind of silly.
That is true, yeah.
So it could be like we've seen GPZ checked, we've seen a Flower Quest checked. My guess is most likely it's just in Palace somewhere.
Yeah, that's definitely where the density favors. It also seems to be a chat favorite so far. I do like Fluke Farm as a suggestion. I don't think we've seen Junk Pit.
Yeah, we have not seen Junk Pit. I would really like to see a blue head into Waterways, actually.
Yeah. Especially like you said, to get that 2-soul warrior goal. That's the easy way to do it.
Yeah, and Fluke Hermit is there as well, so they can.
It's required anyways, yeah.
Yeah, they can really go and expand their goal lead. I think if they're paying attention, it's probably clear that they're the only team with dive.
Yeah,
Or at least they might have a suspicion that they're the only team with dive.
Yeah,
So
they had
taking advantage of the dive is quite powerful.
Yeah, I had to feel really good about finding dive where they did, knowing that that's an unpopular location to check early.
Mm.
Oh no, don't do it, May. I don't think she will. But you saw that that was still their level 1 Howling Wraiths at Colo 2. And they know that there's a required item at Abyss Shriek.
Yes. I'm also going to check Black Egg. Of course, that's nothing because it's not Claw.
It can't be Monomon because
Yes, it can't be
not
Monomon.
our question.
It looks like we're about to see a Watcher Knight.
Yeah, but of course we've already seen that on the other side, so this is just following in, I think was it May's footsteps from a little while ago?
Mm-hmm. It seems like...
and just in time, Jamie gets to Sharp Shadow, so May is no longer gonna think about Colo 2.
Yeah. So it looks like Calypso is now headed to Waterways. I really like this play. We'll probably start off with Dung Defender from this entrance, I'd imagine. But again, just like having the dive advantage and being able to get the 2 goals in full clear is going to be potent.
Yeah, there's so much to check here. I think we might actually see Fluke first. That's my prediction.
Yeah, we might.
Almost not even getting the bench with that dive. Just because Dunk Defender isn't really signaled by anything, whereas Fluke Hermit is required.
Yeah, that's certainly true at this point in the race. Like, usually my personal inclination is just like, I'm over there and it's kind of a long way back. So I usually prefer to just do it while I'm there if I'm entering from that side, but...
That's understandable.
Yeah.
I don't think we saw Dung Defender on purple side, right?
We did. I don't think there was anything good there, but of course the blue team wouldn't have any way to know that.
Yeah, I know that. There's always been that question of, do you check Dung Defender without dive? Because the fight is a little slower and you can't check the relic. But dive has a distressing, actually good items in general used to have a distressingly high likelihood of showing up at Defender's Crest.
Mm.
I don't know if that's still true.
I don't think that's usually true.
Yeah, I don't think it is anymore, but it used to be very true back in much older Rando days. Or maybe it just felt true because people would put off Defender's Quest.
Yeah, that could be the case.
So this is going to be a little sad going into Sanctum. Not going to find dive here.
Yeah. Certainly unfortunate. So that Great Slash is interesting. That is the second nail art.
We've
The
seen all
third
three now.
one was at Pure Nail.
Yes.
Which certainly makes NMG a candidate for the Monomon location.
And, Purple Team has that Palor advantage because May did Abyss Climb. Blossom did not. Or, was it Blossom who did Abyss?
Calypso did it.
Calypso did Abyss, my bad. But in any case, Blue Team skipped the Palor at Whiteheart, so if that NMG check is anything, Purple is a little better positioned for it.
Okay, so it looks like Calypso is now headed to Stone Sank. So she will see the Grim Child shortly after slow and painful, no wise.
Meanwhile, look at where Jamie is. Our teams are
Jamie.
trading their advantages right now.
Indeed they are.
We've been talking about how they were sort of on quote-unquote one brain cell this whole time with their routing, and finally they swapped. Yeah.
The brain cells back together again. Blossom doing Collector, saving some grubs, and maybe there will be an item there.
Never know. I believe just a cyan egg.
Does seem that way.
Yeah, fantastic timing, as Chad is pointing out, to get dive during the Soul Tyrant fight so that May won't have to warp out.
Yes.
We will get to see this new check, which Calypso didn't do.
The vanilla Monomon would be quite funny.
I can't imagine that happening. Now, of course, there is the Charged Lumafly entry location, which could potentially have Monomon.
So now, at this point, I think the runners are much closer to even now. I think Blue probably has a slight lead just because they were able to take advantage of the dive for so long.
Yeah, I definitely think so. Are we not checking Monomon?
Interest. Well, as you said, surely it couldn't be vanilla, so there's no reason to check it, right?
That is very fair. I'm glad to know that JB trusts me. Nope, we're going back in. A crisis of faith in the randomizer.
So meanwhile, we can see a Calypso getting started on Troop Master Grim. He was the one to go to Junk Pit, so he'll be able to do KG as well.
Just a dream nail, and not gonna take it. Not interested in White Palace. White Palace is too cursed.
Speaking of cursed White Palace.
Never mind. My bad. I was forgetting. That must be a dupe behavior. Yeah, it's the dupe behavior. I'm surprised that's what it displayed in the preview. But
yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting that you, of all people, would be surprised. But yeah, it does seem that dupes currently show the actual item. I don't remember if they always did that.
I think that the preview shows the original item, and then, of course, the post view is what shows 100 geotext. but it's sort of a rare situation where you encounter that. Okay, so we are seeing this aggressively early white Palace play. So this is exciting if you're rooting for purple, since they are behind on goals, and finding Monomon here would be a big gain for them.
Absolutely. I like this Trader Lord fight. I think when you're looking for, like, when you're just gated behind a random obtain, having one person go do check cleanup and the other person just like do goal cleanup like the blue team is doing now is quite good.
Yeah, I agree. For sure. The one caveat I would say is, like, it depends on what the goal is, right? If the final goal would be NKG, then maybe you want to save some of that goal cleanup so that you aren't leaving someone with nothing to do. But in this case, since the final goal is just check Monomon, there literally is nothing to do once you get that. So yeah, rush goals right now.
Alright, Blossom is getting the dash
Getting dash
slash.
slash. They have enough. So what will it be? I think everyone's excited for the NMG check. Yes, White Palace and Kala to Shriek. So if you didn't get that Sharp Shadow, you were in for a bit of hurt. Just a seal.
Calypso doing Umu is a bit interesting here.
And she did already have the bench, so it's not as big of a commitment as Ubu normally is if you're like coming from Crossroads. Like, in that sense, I don't think it's even worse than Trader Lord. It's at least 2 checks.
Yeah. Oh wow, this is only their second. Only their second Dream Veil.
I think it's their 4th, just like with
Okay.
Jamie. Great slash. Oh yeah, we saw it. So I'm sorry.
So Defender's Crest to tuck is of course a thing to do.
Yeah, we did already see this though. From May. All right, Path of Pain.
Path of Pain, indeed.
Also, speaking of gold progress, interesting that neither team marked or has gone for Distant Village yet.
Yeah, I think stag goals are, like, since they've been to DV already, they have no incentive to mark that goal.
It's definitely true, especially if you're thinking you'll just do it on the way to Braum anyways. Seems fairly likely at this point.
Although that is a good point. Calypso did do banishment already, so it's a little interesting that they didn't just use that as an opportunity to ride this bag.
Right. I assume that they worked to the bench, and not that they rode the stag and forgot about the goal. Or actually...
yeah, I think that's most likely.
Yeah.
Blossom has made it to Palace. They were talking before the race about how they will execute their Path of Pain perfectly. So we're looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah. Yeah, so at this point, I think that for blue team, they really want it to be somewhere Calypso finds. Probably, preferably this idol under Doug Defender.
Yeah, so that would be ideal for that.
Yep. Note that white defender will be there, but it cannot have
Can't be
Monomon.
Monomon, yeah.
Logic check. Oh, I'm sorry. It was already checked. Yeah, so in that case, I'm not quite sure how much
Oh
is left.
no! Oh no!
No, the logic check.
Well, this is certainly a way to defeat two dream bosses again. But we'll have to remind them after the race is over.
So I believe there was a dive in White Palace already, and now we see the second dive, or dupe dive, at Path of Pain Hidden Totem. So, yeah, good luck if you're not checking Fog Canyon. White Defender can't be Monomon because it requires 3 Dreamers, and the dupe Dreamer is not in Logic.
It is merely Geo. A Dashmaster in Path of Pain is a nice convenience pickup, I suppose.
And 200 Geo at the end. There we go. Yeah, best thing in Path of Pain was the dupe dive. Okay, we've seen Nosk already from Purple Team, so it won't be here. We haven't seen Hive or Lower Kingdom's Edge, right?
We have not.
So that's probably the best density left. We'll see which team is the first to go after that. Oh yeah, also possibly some early stuff in CP. Which didn't get checked without dive. I don't remember if blue team had dive by the time they were going through here.
I believe they did.
I think so too. Yeah, I'm betting Hive. Monomon feels like a Hive Mask Shard thing to me.
Yeah. I wouldn't be terribly surprised to see it in Hive either. I can't think of anywhere else that hasn't been checked that I would usually think to check if I'm looking for like weird places to go.
Right. Yeah, I'm not sure how thorough blue team has been on dive checks. I assume that they've gotten most of them, if not all.
And speaking of Hive, Calypso has made the Hive play, so let's see if there's anything here.
Yep, this could be it. If not, we'll be scratching our heads and trying to remember what location we've forgotten. Yes. Or both teams have DP stack.
Do they both have it, or do they just both? Oh, I guess they do.
Yeah, purple went back for it. Blue team got it on their first trip.
Mm-hmm. All right. Big B, please cooperate.
Big B
Nice.
always cooperates.
Elevator pass.
You love to see elevator pass.
So if I'm them, I'm immediately checking Crossroads Vessel Fragment as soon as I am out of this fight.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a top priority. Yeah, E-Pass into E-Key and Monomon at Shade Soul.
That would be delightful.
It's like May is getting drawn into this NMG rabbit hole. Unfortunately, it's already been checked. No NMG this time around.
Yeah. And Blossom has finished up their palace to kind of no avail, really. Monomon in Hive.
There you go.
All right. So now it's just all about the goal cleanup.
Yep.
Unfortunately, all of the goal cleanup is in very inconvenient places for Blossom, I think.
Jamie is on the way, so this is not going to be a huge gap between when the teams find Monomon. But yeah, I think that Blue is going to have a comfortable head start.
Oh, Blossom is taking the elevator. Did we get? Oh, we did get Iki. Iki was at E-Pass.
Crossroads Vessel Fragment, yep.
Wow.
So very convenient. Saves a little bit of time here. Actually, I don't know if Calypso had even
Soul Warrior, yeah.
Yeah.
So that works out extremely conveniently.
Yes, that's about as good as you could have hoped for. Of course, I'm not sure how many places Iki could have still been, but nevertheless. Yes, very happy to see that.
Yeah, so at this point, yeah, Blossom's riding the stag, and they will start their radiance.
I'm sorry, did Jamie not go to Hive or dip out of Hive?
Good question.
I thought I saw Jamie in a tram.
Yeah, she took the tram. She might have just gotten like the lower edge totems and opted not to go into Hive.
That is tragic.
Yeah, that is very unfortunate.
Yeah. But like we said, yeah, Blue Team's head start at the moment they found Monomon was already going to be considerable.
Yeah. Like at this point in the race, especially with the fact that like where he turned out to be to wrap up the Soul Warrior goal, just being first to Monomon really kind of sealed the deal, I think.
Yeah, I did like seeing that play by Blossom to go into Egg Shop and buy that nail upgrade, knowing that Blossom has such a head start while Calypso still has to do Fluke Hermit, anything you can do to speed up that second Radiance fight is really good to see.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's really easy to just like go do the fight, but like you have time.
Right, we'll see whether Calypso actually redeems the nail upgrade. But the thought counts. I think instead we're going to see some meme charms because they know they have a decent board position. They're not going to get sniped on this.
Mm. So Jamie is now in Hive. A bit too late, unfortunately. Yeah, Blossom's on platforms. Calypso starting Hollow Knight. And we have a GG from Blossom.
Been probably just about 2 minutes or so behind on Calypso. We'll see.
Yeah. So with they doing
90%. Wow.
90 is quite a high percentage, even for a blackout.
Yeah, I mean, they were pretty much just missing shop items at that point, I have to think.
Mm-hmm. I remember when we thought this was going to be a baby seed because Claw was so early.
Well, it was still a baby seed in terms of everything except the bingo board. What can you do about the bingo board?
So,
GG.
yeah, and that is GG from Calypso as well. May is starting on NKG here. Meanwhile, I'm not sure what Jamie is doing. I mean, Jamie is going to Edge, but I don't know why.
That is an interesting.
Maybe going. No, certainly not going to Colo. Maybe going to Colo for Soul Warriors? That is a choice.
And I guess the idea is that it could save time over May because otherwise May would have to do both God Home fights. But
Yeah.
I'm still not sure if Colo is faster than God Home. Surely it's not as ergonomic.
Yeah, I think it's almost certainly not. Yeah, they also didn't check Crossroads bus. Also, maybe they're just like
Right. Of course, they don't have the sanctum option.
Yeah, maybe they're just in like go mentality. It's like, well, we can get done this way, so let's get done this way.
That's fair. And I guess even if maybe in the abstract it's faster to bench warp and go to waterways, like coming out of Hive, Kahlo is right there.
You carry so hard, Blossom.
And yeah, I think that Jamie will kill the Soul Warrior before May beats Grim, so no time loss really.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I don't know, because May does have the right?
I believe so, yeah.
So it'll be pretty close.
It will be close. Yeah, I'm not quite sure how deep in the Hollows the Soul Warriors are.
It's like right around the halfway point, I think, when all the Sanctum enemies appear. That's the way I always thought of it, though I don't know. It's actually...
Yeah, I have no idea what's in Hollow 3 except for Bolt Twisters, Death Loodles, and God Tamer. I don't know where they are other than you can kill them for Journal Rando.
That's a pretty good summary of it. I think Soul Warrior is right after the Volt Twisters, so...
It looks like Blossom is doing some speed running while we're waiting for the other team to finish. This is AGK. Yeah, that's been what they've been running recently.
Yeah, and Rando, you can just go straight into color. So certainly this would not be a good play in vanilla if you wanted to do two Soul Warriors.
I mean, arguably, it's not usually a good play in Rando either, but it will certainly work in this case.
That's true, and we are seeing in this case that May did get through MKG a little bit faster, so...
Yeah. I don't remember which player
There he
went to
is.
Sanctum, but yeah,
This
like if Jamie
Soul
went to
Warrior.
Sanctum, this is certainly faster.
Soul Warrior, fashionably late. Are there two Soul Warriors in Call of 3?
There are two Soul Warriors in Call of 3.
Aha, that makes sense. Because Jamie hadn't been the Sanctum at all.
Interesting.
So therefore, the only way to get this goal would be to do either Sanctum and Godhome, or Call of 3. So that makes sense.
Or just have May do the Godhome one, since she's in Godhome.
That is true. Then Jamie has nothing to do, so you can understand it's tough.
Yeah, I think this was a fine play.
I think so. I don't think it would have been. I think that their team is finishing around the same time with either strategy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, JB did a very nice job with Call of 3. It was not slow at all. So.
Yeah, comma in chat pointing out that in fact Jamie could have done one Soul Warrior in Call of 3 and then gone to Godhome. That would certainly have been more efficient, definitely.
I don't know why we aren't even considering the option of doing one Soul Warrior in Call of 3, then clearing the rest of the seed for Ellie.
True.
That way you don't have to revisit Waterways.
Absolutely.
there's a very impressive 50% split between Blossom and Connor in terms of checks. We see 156 by Blossom, 155 by Connor. So they did a very impressive job of dividing the seed up between the two.
And we have a GG from May, a GG from Jamie is certainly to follow shortly.
Yep.
And there's the GG from Jamie. Hello, GG.
That was an unfortunate location for Monomon, but
So
is
Yeah.
Rando.
a tragic location for both teams.
Yeah.
I mean, they did 30 odd checks more than us, so can't really complain.
Yeah.
GG.
GG.
So the first thing I would like to point out to the runners this seed is for having an extremely early claw. All the players were synced for an insanely long amount of time.
Yeah, Connor was copying me, SNA.
You were copying me, and
No,
then I
you were
did something.
copying me,
No,
I was
no, you
first.
copied me first, and then I did something slow, and then I was copying you.
Naturally.
Yeah, I don't remember what the blue team was doing, but I think everyone was like completely synced up until purple's first trip into a base.
Yeah.
The only major difference between the two teams for most of the seed was the super early dive from blue team Fog Canyon and the early Grimchild from purple team and Stone Sanctuary.
Yeah. Alright. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we just got outsped for most of it. Like, I don't
Yeah.
think we super missed anything hard. I think we just, got skill
Yeah.
gapped,
I think
which is not
I
bad.
think the early dive was pretty lucky. Like that's a very unusual location to go early.
Oh,
There was
you wanna-
definitely that trip of... Oh, sorry, you go.
No, yeah, a little secret. I had planned to go to Legier, but I forgot we didn't have Ismas.
Yeah, and then of course you completed that by doing the love key skip with Ismas.
Yeah.
Yippee.
Of course.
Yeah, because I lost a lot of time to redoing like peak, edge, everything with dives. So yeah, I think we lost like 5 minutes to that, but it's what it is.
I just need to practice White Palace because today I just completely threw for about I think I lost like 4 or 5 minutes in White Palace alone.
Wasn't even in White Palace.
I know.
I'm so sad.
So
We
sad.
literally full cleared. We like actually full cleared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally full map. The only thing we didn't do was Elder Hill.
Yeah.
No, I felt like my movement was like really good that seed.
I
I don't
didn't
know.
feel like that, but
Yeah, mine was not great.
Mine was
your
air,
comms
but I
was
was
perfect.
very
then-
happy with like all the acid skips and that around Ismas because I hadn't been to Kings yet, so I acid skipped in, acid skipped to the grub, acid skipped out, and then
Yeah,
went through Emilitia.
nice.
Gaming.
Yeah, I was happy with how I played. I thought it went well. It was
GG's. So yeah.
Yeah.
GG. Good job. Everyone played
You guys
amazing.
are amazing.
Yeah.
I think we have another race in 20 minutes, I think.
I
so-
believe that's right. Yeah.
Alright. Stick around, everybody.
Yeah, just sit and chat. Just like stare at your screens for the next 20 minutes.
Okay.
Eventually
We're
it'll
already
start.
doing that.
Eventually it'll start. Just keep looking.
Yeah.
Don't take your eyes off of it for even a second. Don't even blink. If you blink, you might miss it.
I think the best way to do that is just require everyone to type holiday every 5 seconds
Mm.
for the next 20 minutes.
Yippee.
The problem is they aren't allowed to repeat messages for 30 seconds. So they have to alter it slightly.
Wait, is this Lim's race up next?
Yep.
Yo. Yeah,
Alright.
definitely stick around and go for Lim's team. Lim's cool. I'm sure the other team's cool as well, but Lim is cool.
I love Lim. And I love Jen Jen. Jen Jen's on Lim's team.
Yeah, true. Blessed team.
Mhm.